Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanys Coughlan from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I am joined by Jennifer Jurkofsky.
Hello. How's it going?
My holistic self.
Mm-hmm.
So, here we are again.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We have Hypnocity joining us today. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, Lanny. And we have Living in Radiance. Hello. She's saying hi to Hypnocity, but there we
go. All good.
All good. So it has been quite a week. Wouldn't you say?
It's been interesting, as it always is.
It does seem to be.
I mean, we're being broken open for so many things to change and to grow and to heal stuff and all of that. And so I feel like there's just this ongoing kind of process. So every time we get on here and it's like, it's been a week. It's been interesting.
Well, I try not to say good or bad because, everything is both. Mm-hmm. So I try to be, a little bit more like it's been good and bad and everything in between.
They're just having it there, so.
You need some WD-40, girl.
No, but yeah, I really appreciate that, and I say it all of the time. The feelings we label them good and bad, but they're not good or bad. What we do with them can lead to something that feels in alignment or in misalignment. But even that, it's not good or bad. It's just an experience. And so we have to look at that and go, okay, what do I want? What kind of experience do I want to have? And how do I want to move forward in that energy?
Mm-hmm. That is true. Well, let's take a look at the solar activity as it is today. It has been, I haven't even got us shared yet. So it's been not too bad, actually, with solar flares, as you'll see momentarily here. It's more the Schumann today than anything else. There we are. So you'll see over here, we've had some that have been up there, some of the higher M's, but nothing like extraordinary, right? Like nothing like super high in the X and everything. Even though it feels like it, which is interesting, right? Because we had a discussion, I had a discussion over the weekend about how, was it with you, Jen? It might have been, about how science, yeah, I think it is, how science hadn't caught up with the tools, like to be able to measure all of the energy that's coming into the earth right now. Like they're not quite at the stage where they can measure all of our downloads, for instance, that kind of light that's coming in.
Yeah.
But we did have a few high up here in the KPs, right? Up at 6 is fairly high. You're definitely going to feel that, right? And we have quite a bit of high Schumann. Here's the ad. And here we go. So you see, we had quite a blast yesterday. And I think a lot of people are feeling that yesterday and today. There's just this like, kind of feeling with that, because that's intense right there. That is a huge piece of energy coming in.
That is why.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I'd be curious what time that hit us in our time zone.
Yeah, this would have been, looks like it was around, I would say around noon UTC.
Okay.
So that's...
is, what is it, 4
or 5 hours difference?
Yeah.
They're ahead. So would have been in the morning. Early morning yesterday that would have hit, I think, for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're feeling it through the day.
Yeah. Well, it went for, 12 hours, really, that big spike. And we're still,
still
well, actually I'm sorry, this is Saturday. What day is it today? 16th. Well, no.
That's the kind of week it's been.
I'll show you why. Because I'm looking at this, and this is saying up here, I don't know if you can see, it's pretty small. Up here it says 15th of June, but then this down here, 15th of June is here, and this is the 16th. So this is why I was a little bit confused for a moment. I was like,
Well, 15th is yesterday. Today's the 16th.
Right. So the 70, though, is yesterday. Because that's the power up here is from the 15th. So that would have been one of our spikes, I guess, yesterday.
Well, I gotta say, we were out and we were buzzing along in town, getting stuff done and everything, and then hit a certain part of the day, and we all just went, whew, this does not feel the same. Like there was something that shifted at that midpoint in our day, and so that was why I was curious about that.
Oh, what's this? Welcome, Shem.
Hi. History is repeating itself from 1941.
Oh. What does that mean?
The overall 1941, or do you mean about the Schumann specifically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know that there's been kind of, I don't know, some interesting things around the connection between the 2 years, and they don't have very good predictions in terms of the heaviness of it and all.
Oh no. Oh, honey. Sending so much love and healing to you and your hubby and your family. Yeah. So sorry, Nalani.
Yeah, sending much love and healing energy. And just some serious hugs. Sometimes we just need to be held.
Big hugs. The heaviness, yeah.
Yeah, and that's...
Yeah, there's a lot of heaviness, for sure. Right now, for sure. I mean, we're walking through all of the densities that are happening. I think, there's a lot of political stuff. But the one thing that's different about this is this is like an unfolding. This is like this cracking open that you were referring to, Jen. So in that way, it's a little different from what was happening before. I think some of the stuff is old wounds that is coming up again. Yeah. Society-based.
Like, want to avoid it, and obviously, like, not an advocate for war at all. But when you think about, like, even what happened, like, with war, especially world wars, like, there is a complete cracking open that has to happen because we can't continue it. It can't sustain itself, and things have to change. And, I really would always love that things can change through peace and love and all of that. But we do have these patterns that become self-destructive. And so until we learn to navigate that, these heavier, more difficult things are going to show up in our experience.
Yeah.
Right. But I know, the whole like calendar year, especially because of the Gregorian calendar that we have now, like there is this aspect of, every so many years we have a repeat where it falls exactly the same all the way through. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to repeat everything exactly as we did all the way through. And I think that's the beautiful thing, Tanys, that what you're talking about in that unfolding and that ability for us to do things differently. Because I would like to believe that we have grown as a human race since then in terms of what we're working with, even if there are still really heavy, difficult things that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
As an overall, I hold space for the hope that we're doing things a little bit differently, even though, sometimes in the news we don't always see that.
It's very unfortunate that we hear a lot of the heavier things when there is so much light happening. Mm-hmm. So many things that are happening that are beautiful. So it's, if we can focus on those things, that recreates that creates a different outcome for us individually and as a society. If we can the more people can do that, the more we can choose a higher timeline and go into that instead. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, to Shem's comment there about year of completion, right? It is a 9.
It is a 9.
We are in that place of completion and completing a lot of cycles and making a lot of shifts in that work. It doesn't, completing cycles is not like, oh, fun, check, did that task.
No.
I wish it were, right? Oh, that karma's done now. Good job. Like, yes, but it's not that simple, and it doesn't always feel that easy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the work that goes along with it, and the work can come in different ways, right?
Absolutely.
So we just hope that we can manage it differently.
Yeah. And each time we come through it, we are given that opportunity to manage it differently. Right? If we look at cycles and all of that, there are times where we can go, oh yeah, I've done this before, I've been here before, but it is about being able to do it differently, even if it's just a little bit different each time. And things seem to cycle with the stars. This is where our transits come into play.
Exactly.
Right?
And those neutrinos come running down, and we have to jump into that.
If you guys really want to dive deep into it, I've done Laugh and Learns with Gerald about it on Tarot Stash. But I think I have do I have a quick wheel I can show you?
While you're doing that, Nalani's saying the U.S. is in a karmic cycle that's over 200 years.
Yeah. That happens too. We are in these cycles, and we do have to process through the energy of it. Okay, I'll show you guys this one. This isn't the human design one, but it is, but it's the I Ching, which it all is. But we go every year, right? And we transit through. So the sun transits through the entire cycle every year. The moon transits through it every month, right? So we're constantly in this cycle of processing and revisiting and processing and revisiting, and that's there on purpose, and we're meant to continually cycle through so that we're continually given an opportunity to grow, to expand, and to show up just that little bit different each time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
And so I just saw this too. I am so sorry. Holy jumping. That is a lot.
Oh, wow.
Sending out love and light to him as well. Lots of healing.
Absolutely. Healing energy, and just some peace energy, right? And some calmness for you and for them to be able to rest.
Yeah.
And recuperate and heal. Definitely. Yeah. We're in the 12 right now. We were in the 12 on the 13th. We're going to be here until about the 19th. And this is the standstill.
Oh, right? Interesting.
It's also the gate of caution.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's about releasing awareness in the proper spirit. That's that idea of caution. So it's about getting past that the shadow of it is vanity, right? And so it's about getting past that need for perfection, getting past that, elitist or malicious energy that can come through us. And so if we're able to notice when that energy is getting pulled from us, right, that, it says false positive, or the other thing associated with it is that self-righteousness, right? So we talk about self-righteous indignation and things like that. And if we can notice that being pulled, we can move into the gift of this, which is discrimination, right? And it's not discrimination in the way that the world uses that word right now. That's not what it's about. It's really about discernment, right? Our ability to step into what it is to be authentic, right? Can I allow myself to have that discriminatory thinking within myself? Not, again, not a judgment of another or saying that one is better than another. Really, that's the shadow, that vanity piece, that makes that a negative connotation. Here, we're looking at it and going, is this thing, this action, this person, this event, whatever it is this in alignment for me? Is participating in this, connecting with this, whatever it is, going to allow me to step into my authenticity, or is it going to pull me away from it? Right? And then being able to go, if it's going to pull me away from it, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? And that's that siddhi here, that higher or that enlightened state that goes with it, which is purity. Right? Being able to really connect with that pure heart. So the shadow is that false purity, right? That vanity, that this is, that this is how I am, this kind of putting yourself higher than, those kinds of energies. Or on the other side of it, right, we beat ourselves up. So putting ourselves really low, right? And just noticing that and kind of going, okay, what is it that I can do here in this moment that's going to allow me to just be myself? And what can I do to hold space for that? That's that discrimination piece, right? Of, do I do this thing or do I do that thing? And again, I love the word discernment because that resonates so much more for me. Being able to discern what that right step is and what feels the most aligned. And you guys got a lot of highs and stuff going on over there.
So we have a hello from Foco Pogo, who is somewhere over the US.
Oh,
we hope that you had an amazing
light.
We hope that you had an amazing trip. And we have Standing in Light with Annie Bear. Hello, Annie Bear. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Mom. Standing in Radiance, or Living in Radiance is Mom. Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah. So on Friday, we're going to be switching transits.
Okay.
Yes. And we're going into the gate 15. And the gate 15 is the gate of modesty, or the gate of extremes. It's about the love of humanity. Now think about this, right? We're going from this place of really holding space for that authentic self and being able to allow ourselves to step into that. And then when we do that, we're able to actually love and hold space for that love, right? Because this moves us from the shadow of dullness to the siddhi of fluorescence through the gift of magnetism. And what is more magnetic than somebody authentically being who they are?
Yeah.
Right? So just notice where that pull is coming from. Notice how it's showing up for you. Hold space for it. Right? And then see, as you move into that authenticity, what that opens for you.
Yeah.
So next time we meet, we'll be partway through this one.
Yeah, the light and love thing. As you were talking about that transit starting next week, I was getting chills. So that's obviously a big one. Somehow I'm very connected to that in some way. So, because
it changes on my birthday.
Right.
One sign.
It's your birthday on Friday. We know someone else whose birthday is the following day, and we're wishing her
Yes,
happy
and so
birthday.
it's going to be
Well,
hers too.
yes, exactly.
So you're definitely connected to it.
I definitely am. Yes.
It's also the gate of extremes. Maybe that's the Gemini. I don't know.
Well, I was also thinking of Bonita.
And
because
Bonita.
she's all about that unconditional love and stepping into that. So I might have to have a little chat with Bonita and see what she has to say about the coming transits as well. I don't know if you guys have met Bonita, but this is Bonita. She's a rose quartz skull who sits here on my desk and chats every so often.
Mm-hmm.
She told me she was here to help with universal love, or unconditional love.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, Annie Bear. That's awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
It helps us continue to do what we're doing and know what you like and what to share and what to bring forth.
Yeah. So we can talk about the transits. We can pull a card. If there's something that you guys want to talk about and you want to pop it in the chat really quick, we can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We talk about themes and stuff that are going on. And, there's definitely been some themes coming up this week, especially around that perfectionism piece.
Yes.
And being able to release that and what that means and what that looks like. But open to...
Well, I did see something as well that I wanted to bring forward. I just have to find it here. So a solar update for, maybe I did not send it there. There's supposed to be some big flare that's coming in tomorrow that I saw. So just the reason I'm bringing that forth is don't get into fear about it or how you feel tomorrow physically, because you may feel some big shifts and stuff. I know even this morning for me, I was like, Jen, what's going on? Because I was feeling some stuff and I was like, oh, this is not a usual thing. I think it was an upgrade, or not an upgrade, but a download, but it was a different form. When I checked in, that's what I was told, but it was like very tingly in a feeling. And so it was different for me. So I just wanted to bring that forward in case you guys feel something different like that. That's like a tingly kind of a feeling. Any of the ascension symptoms can come up when we have this kind of thing, but there's like this big wave of light that's supposed to come in tomorrow. So.
Yeah. So I think it's really interesting, right? Because we talk about the solar flares and what they are, right? And so, I think we broke it down a little bit last time, but the idea of, right, this solar flare, and I know I joke, right? It's the sun farting at us, but but in a lot of ways,
etc. Yeah,
it is.
it is. It's gases
because it's gases and it's electromagnetic gases, right? And so this is where the neutrinos and all of that come into play, because we have billions of them passing through all the time. And when there's these flares, it's an intensifying of that energy. And so what energy is it intensifying? Well, it's intensifying the energy of whatever transit we're in, right? So we recognize that each time these flares are happening, there's a connection to the energy that we're meant to process and heal through. And that's why we're getting this intense burst of it. And it can feel really overwhelming and it can feel really heavy, especially if we're caught up in that shadow aspect, because it's meant to bring us to that cusp of transitioning, right? Transmuting it into something else, into its higher form of energy. And so, you say this often, Tanys, right? It's happening for us, not to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so often we talk about that observer piece. If we could allow ourselves to just get out of the narratives around it so that we can just observe, what is this energy bringing up for me?
Yeah.
Right? If we can do that, then as that comes up, I can go, oh, okay, this is triggering this memory or this experience that I had, or it's making me feel this particular emotion. And then we can kind of look at that and go, okay, what significance does this have for me in my experience right now? And what do I want to do with that?
Yeah. And I think like the anxiety piece around all of that has certainly come up for a few people that I've talked to. Because, we've had anxiety before, even spiritual people who have started this path with the anxiety that we had previously. For me, I used to be really anxious. I don't know how many people know this, but I was a very anxious person before I started all of this, like really caught up in perfectionism, really like very much like scared to do anything wrong. Like it was very much like that for me. And so once I started this and realized, we're all perfectly imperfect and it's okay to make mistakes, that was like, it kind of let me off the hook for a lot of things that I had myself on the hook for. Which, not that I go out and do things willy-nilly, but it's it certainly helped me to understand why things happen a little bit more. But I think that, when we do this kind of work and we start to work through our stuff, we're never done, right? So like there's always going to be times when that old anxiety shows up for me and I'm going to go, wait, this is familiar. This was not where I'm at right now. And so am I reacting from the old energies? Is this an energy that's coming up for me from the past? And oftentimes it is. And so how am I going to deal with this time? Because as we peel an onion, we deal with those layers differently, right? I'm peeling an onion. That's, I'm peeling away the layers. So as we peel away the layers of our own stuff, we have the opportunity, like you say Jen, to deal with it in a different way, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of just getting all upset and like we would have early on in the game, we start to be able to sit with it a little bit more and go, okay, it's okay. You've done this before. You made it through the other side of that one. So let's see what we can do this time. And let's use the tools, right? Yeah. We start bringing in our tools. I always use myself as an example because, I give myself permission. Right? But, we're working through things as we go. Like, so, there's times when anxiety will come up for me. I'll be like, is this mine? And sometimes it's not. But when it is.
That's a big one. Recognizing what is and isn't yours.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes it's difficult to discern, right? In this kind of energy world that we've had these big spikes and stuff like yesterday, sometimes that's it's more difficult to discern if it's mine or not in that.
Yeah.
And so, at first that's the question. The next one is, okay, what tools do I have? Staying calm enough to be able to utilize your tools, do the breathing, right? Do that kind of stuff to get ourselves through, because it is just energy. I love the way you talk about it, Jen, when you're talking about how our brain makes up all these stories to try and understand what's happening to us, when really it's all just energy. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's best if we just filter it through and then do the thinking about it after we're out of that panic state. Right? Just release the energy right now because it's not serving me to be in this state of anxiety, and just releasing it through. Right? Because I know there's a lot of anxiety right now and on many fronts, and partially because of what we were talking about with all the stuff that's happening in the world and in the neutrinos and, flares. And it's just all of that. And that's okay.
Yeah. We were actually talking about this a little bit on Galactic Gab on Friday as well with Dr. Lisa Thompson. And we had a really great conversation around what it is to be able to be in the density, to allow ourselves to be in that harder, more complicated energies. And, those of us who are on the spiritual journey, so often we're talking about, one of the cards was ascension.
Right. Yes, on Friday.
Hey, we talk about this ascension process and we think that it means that we have to somehow leave here and get there. And that if we're not here, we're not doing the right things in our journey. And so if we have these denser energies, that somehow means we're doing something wrong. And that is not the case at all.
No.
Right? The idea is that we're able to bring these higher vibrational energies. We're able to bring gratitude and joy and love and peace and all of those things into the density. So that, as you were saying, Tanys, and I know I've had this with my experience, where, we can actually allow ourselves to feel into the denser emotions more deeply.
Yeah.
Because we have these other things with us at the same time. So love holds space for us, and joy lets us know that it's going to end. And gratitude helps us to see what good can come from allowing ourselves to feel the emotions. Right? Kaylee was saying a big takeaway or a big theme from the weekend was sacred emotions.
Yeah.
Every emotion is sacred. And because there's now been this kind of frequency attached to them, and we think that there's, if we're in this lower frequency, that dense energy is somehow bad. And we have to really be mindful about that, because that's not what it is. What we want, we don't want to not have those energies. We want to learn how to harmonize those energies with the other frequencies so that they can all work together. And so we're not in just one or the other. We're really holding space for every part of what it is to have a human experience.
Well, that was the other thing that I felt liberated with when I started this journey, was the fact that it's okay to feel a bunch of emotions at the same time. I used to try and identify, what is this emotion? What is this emotion? And sometimes I couldn't, because it was like all of these emotions all like intermingled, and it wasn't something that I could identify.
Mm-hmm.
And then my brain would go off on some tangent because I was busy trying to identify where it was from, when really all I needed to do was just sit and cry and not worry about where it was from, because it's old energy and it's not really in my life right now, but I needed to feel it and release it.
Yeah.
So it's one thing if it comes up because of something that's happened, but it's another if it just comes up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And even the thing that happens can be just a trigger, right?
Yeah. But even maybe something is going on in your reality that is really heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
I often allude to an experience that I had, I think, where I had the deepest cry I've ever had. And just laying in my bed and scream crying, the most ugly cry you can possibly think of. And it felt liberating to be able to allow my whole body to just shake and feel the intensity of what I had to release in that moment, what I didn't have a choice to release, and I had to release. Right? And allowing myself to go through the entire process of resistance and anger and fear and everything that came along with that, in order to allow myself to step into that next phase of my journey.
Yeah.
Right? And so, when we talk about sacred emotions, as hard as that was, it was one of the most pivotal experiences in terms of propelling me on my journey, right? Those moments of deep, deep surrender, they opened something in me that needed to be cracked open, and probably wouldn't have opened if it wasn't hit so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've definitely, we've done work together, of course. And I remember there was one time you did an opening for me. It was a heart opening. And I was like, it was that kind of ugly cry. And I had sort of locked stuff away. This was early on again, and I'd locked stuff away and hadn't really felt it. And it was just huge cathartic release, in terms of, and it was because it had been cracked open, and it was wonderful. I cried and it was wonderful. And that was, that's the thing, is sometimes it's just that we need to do it. We need to do that. Sometimes it's not just about crying. I mean, we can get the same kind of relief from other activities, right? I know some people do it from physical exercise, right? They go out and get a real release from running or something like that, or do really working hard at an activity can be a release, right? Because you're moving energy through the body.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. I mean, I had an experience. This was very, very early on in, exactly. The light enters.
Yeah.
In my career, working in the prison system and in intensive forensic recovery programs. And one of the clients that I worked with, I'm not going to share their story, it's theirs to share, but they had dealt with some very serious issues that they were feeling guilt and shame and remorse for. And I didn't know how to help them, but I knew that they needed to allow themselves to feel it, right? Because if we don't allow ourselves to go through it, we aren't able to really, we can talk about forgiving ourselves and all of that, but if we don't allow ourselves to go deep into what it is that we're holding, how do we know what to release? Right? Yeah. And so I, got permission. We went into one of the rooms. I pulled the mattress up against the wall and I said, just start hitting it.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, what? And I said, start hitting it. You've got anger in there and you're not letting yourself feel it. Just start hitting it. Mm-hmm. By the time we were done, we were both on the floor. Right? But it was needed to get that energy out.
Yeah.
Right? Our bodies can't hold that. It can't sustain all of that.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it in ways that are healthy, we're going to do it in ways that are not. Because eventually it's going to explode out of us, whether we want it to or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I've done the hitting a pillow thing with clients, put it on the bed and hit the pillow. Just hit it. Doesn't matter. Just hit it. Right? Yeah. Or even the, a guttural scream.
Mm-hmm.
Not like but like like one of those over and over until it just will come out in that way. It's kind of giving our body permission in a way. If we do something like that, it's almost like saying to the body, okay, we're going to do something really out of the ordinary because you're not able to release in whatever way we're trying right now. So let's do something out of the ordinary. Give your body permission to do something out of the ordinary, and doing things like we're saying, right? Like hitting a pillow or mattress, or it gives that structured sort of healthy way to channel it.
Right? Yeah. Well, and screaming, I mean, screaming can be such a beautiful release.
Yeah.
But that's hard. Yeah. Right? You can't just walk down the street and scream at the top of your lungs. People don't generally, let you stay on the street very long.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's a little bit, in the car maybe, but even there, you can, if you're out somewhere and you're not around anybody, like if you're not in a densely populated area, in a private home, if there's nobody around and you warn people, those kinds of things. But we do have to be mindful of what's going on around.
But there's so much power in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so then that we recognize there's power in sound. There's power in using our voice. So there's power in singing.
Yeah.
Right? There's power in chanting. There's, anything that we can do, Shem says growling.
Yeah.
To be able to just release through our voice can be very powerful. But how we do that is important. Remember, words have spells.
That's right.
We don't want to necessarily be screaming things or, and when I say things, I mean like we don't
obscenities or at something or something, right?
But just that overall kind of allows for a release without it having to be any particular kind of energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Because when we direct that energy, if you think about the magnitude of that and you're directing it at somebody or something, like that can be kind of detrimental.
Absolutely.
So let's be kind in how we decide to channel this energy. I know it doesn't even, it's funny because when, as a sensitive, if there's something like that happening, like I will feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, even if somebody like snaps at me because they're having a bad day, I feel it physically. So, you know, that's the thing, right? You do need to be gentle, and it is our energy, our response is our responsibility. It's not that person that we're angry with. It's our responsibility. Right?
Yeah. And
so,
I can,
yes, promoting peace.
Absolutely. And I speak to that too, Tanys. Like, I agree with you 100%. You know, there's a certain energy, and it's a visceral picking it up and feeling it. And I think that's where, one, it's so important to know what's yours and what isn't yours, so that when you feel that and you pick that up, your mind doesn't put a story to it and own it, because that's never going to help you. At the same time, I think it is important for us to express, especially if it's somebody that we love, that we, you know, care about, that we want in our energy, to be able to say, hey, I get you are feeling some kind of way, whether you scream or not. I can feel that, but the words are creating this energetic ripple, and I can't handle feeling that. They can do what they want with that, but at least you're being clear about where you stand with it.
It's letting them know how you're experiencing it, which is just what you would do if somebody was saying something to you, right? Even if you weren't feeling it the way we do, you know, if someone's saying something to you that's out of line, by putting up that boundary and saying, hey, this is out of line, right? So I don't manage that kind of talk very well. I'm going to go over here until, you know, you can sort of feel better, because it's not really at me. So I'm going to go over here. If it's at me, then let's have a conversation, figure out what's going on. But otherwise, I'm just going to go over here.
And though sometimes it's, let's take a minute before we keep going with this, because the energies are too much.
Yeah.
Right. And we need to take that space. You know, and to what Shem is saying about Tanys, you know, you feel what's happening around the world, even without knowing it, you know, like the outage thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I do think that there is a component there for all of us, because, you know, we talk so much about collective consciousness, collective unconsciousness, and what that is. And I think there is something very beautiful in being able to go, okay, this isn't just me, this is the collective, but recognizing this isn't just me, because we are part of the collective.
That's right.
Right. And so we can differentiate in that way, versus somebody coming up to us and they're all mad. And I'm like, whew, that is totally not me. Right. I'm feeling that energy elsewhere.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about that collective piece is, because I am a part of the collective, if I can shift my experience of that collective energy, I'm pouring that now into the collective. Right. And that's where we hold our power in terms of navigating all of this energetic.
Yeah. Sending it back as love, right? So that's kind of part of the light worker role, is kind of like, we take this piece of the energy and we're going to like transmute that and send it back.
Absolutely.
In the way that it's more useful, or more positive, or more high vibe, whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah.
And in that transmutation, we find our own beautiful growth.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I mean, I say it all the time, right? And I periodically put it on myself. I don't know if you guys can see it. Exhale, only love. Right? But it is that energy of, if I can meet the situation with love, right, then, as Kaylee says, I can alchemize it. Right? I have that capacity to shift the energy in that moment. But if I'm not exhaling love, I'm contributing to
that's
that.
true. Yeah. So Shem says, she's heard, right? She said, after I've heard, 99.9% is not our energy. Who does it belong to?
Are you meaning the collective?
I think that's what she's referring to, as the collective. And so the collective is, you know, culmination of every being in this universe, because we're all quantumly entangled.
Well, I mean, you think
Right?
about it. The collective is, everybody here, everybody in the universe.
Yeah.
All of our parallels.
Yeah.
All of our ancestrals.
Mm-hmm.
All the timelines. That's collective.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, 99.9% not ours. Sure. Still 0.1% ours.
Yeah.
And that 0.1% can make significant impacts.
Yeah. Yeah. Collective, she's saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we can make, it sounds like we're so tiny, right? It brings me to that old saying, you think that being small, you can't make a big difference, but have a mosquito in the tent. What kind of difference does that make? Small and mighty. And that's what we are, right? When we're talking light workers, we're small and mighty in this big collective. We can do a lot of alchemizing of energy,
Mm-hmm.
even though we might be only that 0.1%.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, you think about, you're going the bug route, bees,
Mm-hmm.
right? They are small, but if we didn't have them, we couldn't exist.
Yeah.
Right? So talk about small and mighty.
Mm-hmm. Some of the smallest things in our universe are what help us live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's amazing.
Yeah. And all of it is part of a collective energy. Right?
All species.
Yeah.
Right? We're not just talking human, we're talking all of it.
Yeah.
Yes. They make a difference.
Yeah.
If you slept in a room with one mosquito or in a tent with one mosquito, how much sleep did you get? Yes, penicillin is a microbe, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That saves lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty amazing.
And that comes back even to our own well-being, because one thought, right? One piece of perception can dictate an entire experience.
Yeah. For better or for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's make it for the better.
Yeah.
That's where we have our power.
Yeah.
Is creating our world in that way.
Yeah.
And they say we create our reality. Like that is one of the ways that we create our reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can't dictate what the collective thinks or feels, but we can dictate what we give to it, the part that we contribute to it. And what we choose to contribute to it is about what comes out of us, right?
Hmm.
So if we are in that place where we are exhaling only love, then we're going to be contributing that love, right? If we're in a place where we are sitting on trigger number 10,000 and we're just ready to explode within ourselves, right, then we need to look at that and kind of go, like, I know if I'm in that place where I know I'm irritable and I know I'm upset, right, and then the moment that I get poked, that's what happens, right? I step into that and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, okay, hold on. I need to breathe. I need to take a step back and go, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Right? What is it that's coming up in me? And how do I want to navigate this? Right? And so often we look at it and go, okay, my value here is connection. So how do I choose connection instead of this need to be right, this need to be heard, this need to be validated, this need to be whatever, right? What is it that I need to hold space for in order to shift that trajectory?
Yeah. Hey, Lena May. Absolutely. Love is always the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Love, that's the connection.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the midst of these energies and everything that we have going on, even in the world, I know we've talked a bit about the stuff that's going on in the world and where we're at and the feelings around that. And it's like, okay, how can I continually hold space for love? Right? And it doesn't have to be this grandiose, like, you know, I love everybody no matter what. It could just simply be, I'm going to have love in my family and I'm going to focus my love there.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not going to focus on this other stuff. Right. It can just start there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And knowing that, you know, change creates that stuff. And so bringing love to transitions or changes that are happening at the moment is also important. Mm-hmm. Oh, Sham, we love you too.
Aww.
Lots of love.
So much love. Love you too. Yeah, Tanys and I mean, I know we've said it on the show and we say it to each other often, how much we love all of you for making, you know, all of this possible, building community, for the love that you guys share for each other, for us, the ability to hold that space for one another, right? To send love and healing energy. You know, this is a beautiful, beautiful community where we're able to freely say, I love you. And to feel that in the core of our being. And, you know, it's not, you know, it's not the same as I love cookies, right?
Although I do love cookies.
Although I do love cookies. But it is that love, right? For love's sake. Right. Yeah. I love cookies because they taste good. And I love cookies because, you know, but this is a love that is just, I love you. You don't have to show up any certain way. Yep. It's okay if you're going through stuff. It's okay if, you know, we're venting through stuff. It's all okay. And that space is being held. And that's what helps us move love forward and share it.
Thank you. But we can't do it without you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And this is that authenticity piece that we were talking about, right? Yeah. That, you know, and again, we've shared this before, but that whole like going live and what does that mean? And like, well, what if we're not feeling good that day, or what if this or that? And it's like, it's all good. It doesn't matter. That's the joy of being authentic. There are times where I've come on the show, I've looked at myself and been like, oh, I look like I'm bagged. Like I look like I have had a rough go. Like, that is okay. It's okay. Totally okay. Because we've all been there. We have like had those moments of like, wow, I've been through the ringer and I am feeling it. Yeah. Right. And that's okay. And I love that we can be as authentic as possible and
the A word.
Hold space for that. Yes.
I'm pretty sure she means authentic.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We're all walking each other home.
Absolutely. Exactly. Absolutely.
I mean, Jen said we've both been on here, like totally exhausted or, you know, going through stuff, been triggered or whatever. And we come on, and I don't know about you, Jen, but I always end up feeling better as well. So like we feel your energy coming through.
Yeah, and I think that's the beautiful thing too, is to be able to come on and we don't have to say everything's great, things have been so good. Like we come on and every week it's like, yeah, I've been through some shit this week. Sorry.
Yep.
I've been through some stuff this week. I don't say we're kid rated. It's okay.
Yeah, no, me either. No, we've had some stuff on here that's really not kid rated. I'm just saying.
So does Disney. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. The S word. Stuff. Jen and I do stuff. That's what we do. Remember? We do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go into it every time when we would get on
stuff
about
is
what
as
we do.
versatile a word as shit is.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. Slight nuances to it, but yeah.
It's one of the most
I don't give
versatile
stuff.
words in the English language.
Well, the F word is too, but
Home play.
Home play. We're at that time.
Go into nature. And what a beautiful time to do that.
It is.
Okay, so here we go. Go into nature. Your Earth Mother is calling you to enter her realms. Do you feel the pull? She wants you to walk amongst the beings who heal and nurture you, for you are disconnected from the natural world. Go to a park and lie down on the grass or the snow. Luckily, it's grass this time.
Grass. Or sand, if you're by the ocean.
Yes. Go to an area where you no longer hear the roaring noise and sit amongst the wildlife. For the wild ones are your brothers and sisters, and they honor you. Your physical body needs the loving attention of the natural world, grandchild. Being amongst your relatives in nature produces feelings of well-being and calm. These good feelings are needed to live in balance. Receive them, turn off your distractions, and return to nature, where you can hear the songs being sung for you.
Beautiful. That's what I did on Saturday. I sat and read, all the windows open in the sunroom.
Nice.
Listened to the birds. Felt the breeze.
Yeah.
Stepped outside, got some sun on my face.
It's such an important thing to be able to allow yourself to have that connection. And I love, you know, again, you can't make this stuff up, right? Like it connects so well with what we were talking about allowing ourselves to have all the experiences, but connecting with our relatives, connecting with nature, knowing that collective consciousness is everything that we're tapping into. And so holding space for that connection and the healing that comes from it.
Absolutely. Trees are amazing. Poco said she's sat under a tree yesterday. So busy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Catherine has cardinals in her backyard.
Oh, beautiful.
Me too. That was part of what I was listening to yesterday too, was cardinals. Yeah, lovely.
And yes, Shem, you already do join us to do stuff on here. Such beautiful healing work that we do together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the way you guys all, you know, contribute by chatting and adding in, you know, your little antidotes or whatever is happening for you. You know, we love to be able to support and send love and healing to you too, in all of that. So what's happening for you this week, Jen? What have you got going on? Have we got stuff going on this week?
That's a good question. So for those of you who don't know, I did a chat with Zen, and that just got released. So it's on his YouTube, but I'm going to share it on mine. Actually, I'll share it as soon as we're done here. So you can go ahead and find that chat on the YouTube channel. And that was a fantastic conversation that we had about healing the world and what that looks like. And can we really hold that space for healing and growth for one another? So I've got that. And then that's a good question. Where are we at?
We do have something. We have Wednesday evening.
Oh, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right.
We are doing live messages. We do them monthly. We've had trouble fitting it in these days because we've been both very busy. So we have put it to Wednesday evening at 9 this week. Okay. So it'll be Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. So if you want to come and join us, we'll be doing the card readings. That's the one that we're doing.
Perfect. And then we have support group on Saturday.
Yep.
And so if you go to beyondbeinghuman.org/support-groups, you'll be able to get the information on the support groups, the Zoom link, and all of that. It's free to join. So
9 p.m. Eastern, Shem. EST, 9 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be 7 p.m. Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, and then I'm doing spa readings as well on Sunday. So that will be on Gerald's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee and I are going to be doing spa readings with Gerald. And that is 11 a.m. Eastern on the 22nd. And I think, yes, I think that's it. Yes.
Good stuff.
For me. So we've got a busy week ahead.
Yeah.
Right?
We've got some stuff coming up.
We do. We have lots of stuff coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun. So lots more interaction time with all of you. So please come on and join us when you can. And we will see you then. And the final words, Jen? Final thoughts?
Yeah, just hold space for love in your experience, whatever that looks like. To be able to know that you not only can love, but that you are love.
Mm-hmm. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all okay. We will be okay, and we are okay. Sending tons of love, guys. We'll see you soon. Take care.